we dive into the SEC Big Ten meeting takeaways. And the biggest thing that I take away from it is that there's talk, and I don't believe it, but there's talk that they could actually seed 1 through 12, just a natural seeding, and not have 4 Big Ten teams, 4 SEC lot teams. I love the idea. I don't think they'll do it.
Well, they're not done with the 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten lock teams for 2026. Right. Yeah, that could still be part of it. They just want to seed 1 through 12, and they want to do that this year. Here's the thing, and this is so clear, and I wrote a column on this if you guys want to read it online now. The SEC and Big Ten jumped into this college football playoff expansion without thinking, and ever since then, they've just been reacting. And then in the process of reacting, they are perpetually chasing their tails.
Totally agree.
And
I could actually not put it in any better terms than what you just said. And by the way, the column is in the message board if you'd like to read it. Go ahead.
So why are they wanting to do this seeding 1 through 12? The biggest reason is they're worried, and this happened last year, that there was an incentive to lose the conference title games, which I'm pretty sure Penn State did on purpose last year, because you had an easier road as the 6th seed playing SMU and Boise State than you did as Oregon as the number 1 seed winning the Big Ten title and having to play Ohio State as your first team. This seeding is so out of whack, you actually were incentivized to be a lower seed. So they're like, oh, we'll fix it by seeding 1 through 12. Dave, here's the problem. If you seeded 1 through 12, the top 4 seeds, the first round buys, would have all been the teams that played for the SEC and Big Ten title last year. And I think you and I both agree that would probably be the case every year, right? The top 4 seeds would be the 4 teams to play for the Big Ten and SEC title every single year.
But we had Jimmy Holmes on yesterday. I thought he brought up a great point, not to divert, but the SEC was close to having more than the Big Ten significantly because they had probably the 3 strongest outliers, right?
Right.
I think that's what the Big Ten was afraid of, or is afraid of.
Well, yeah, but no, this is just about the seeding 1 through 12. Let's just stick with the seeding 1 through 12 real quick.
Okay.
So again, seeding 1 through 12 outright. Yes, there would be more SEC teams in the playoff overall at 16. I'm talking about the top 4. The top 4 would 100% of the time be the 2 teams to play for the SEC and the 2 teams to play for the Big Ten titles, right?
Well, are we assuming that the Big 12 and nobody else is involved? Are we going?
I'm saying just the top 4 seeds. The top 4 of ranking 1 through 4. 1 through 4.
No, I can't. No, I think that there would be a Big 12 team in there.
But see, that didn't happen this past year. The top 4 teams were not the top 4 seeds, but the top 4 ranked teams in the college football playoff because they want to seed this based straight off ranking. The top 4 ranked teams were the 2 teams that played for the SEC title and the 2 teams that played for the Big Ten title. You follow me on that?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Go ahead.
Okay, so here that would be the case more often than not. Do you not agree?
Yes.
Okay, so if that's the case more often than not, then you just devalued and killed the Big Ten and SEC title games even more than you planned to. Because, Dave, if you're a team playing for if you're Texas or Georgia playing for the SEC championship, and you know win or lose, you're getting a first round bye, why are you going to waste your energy playing that SEC title game?
Let me tell you why I love and hate you. I love you because you make some really good takes ahead of the curve. But I hate you because you're right. And I hate that conference championships are devalued. And I can't believe I'm saying this just a year into this thing. We're a year into the playoffs, and I'm saying they don't matter at all.
No.
I would love to argue otherwise and sit here and say, Caleb, you were wrong. I told you last year it still matters to hoist that trophy. It doesn't.
No.
I've talked to players about it. They don't look at it like it's anything significant.
Exactly. And college football did this to itself. And the funny thing is, we talk about it as we're talking about it here. This is the irony. They want to seed 1 through 12 because they think that'll make their conference title games matter more. It's going to make them matter less. And I mean,
I don't even know why they're having them.
You know, the one way you could make the conference title games actually matter and put significant value on it.
$5 million per player.
Yeah, well, you don't just get a first round bye if you win. You get a home playoff game in the second round. You get to play the second round at home.
Okay, but let me ask you for realsies. What about what I just said?
$5 million per player.
Okay, but let's be real, like with numbers. What if you said you get $100,000 bonus if you win this game? Why is that not done? Because those numbers are more manageable than you could say 100,000 per starter.
Well, you have to incentivize the coach. The coach may still not want to win the game.
Well, the coach is already incentivized. It's already in his contract. Yeah, I mean, Heupel and all those guys. I mean, they get extra money for winning championships, so that happens. Joe Newbert Collision Center. For nearly 50 years, Newbert Collision Center has been East Tennessee's best choice for quality repair work and fantastic customer service. JoeNewbertCollision.com. Am I crazy to say, Caleb, that if you doled out, I don't know, a couple of $1 million per team, or promised that per team, that they play a little bit harder?
But what does it do for the fans? The fans don't want to see. This is the thing. They're not all in this together because, yeah, the players will get paid, but the fans don't really care if they win the conference title. They'd rather the starters be rested for the playoff. So that's just something for the players to feel good, but it's not going to make the fans happy. And a part of this is about the fans. I mean, I'm not like college football. All sports are driven by the fans and what they care about. You still haven't fixed the issue of the fans not caring if they win the conference title game. And here's the other point, Dave. The players are going to play for $5 million. It's about the networks and the ratings. They got to make the game matter to the fans somehow. Because right now, I know this. Networks are very upset at the lack of interest in the SEC and Big Ten title games last year. That's not what they signed up for with this. They thought there'd be more interest.
Well, I agree with that. But
the SEC and Big Ten have promised them certain levels of revenue from those games. And so they got to find a way to make those games matter.
Okay, could you sell this like a Jake Paul, Mike Tyson thing? The winner gets whatever it is, $5 million per team, and the loser gets a big nothing. Which we know in retrospect, Tyson didn't even fight; it was a complete joke. But if you sold it like that, winner take all, as in $5 million, is that the worst idea? It's cheesy. I know it's cheesy. But you're talking to the guy who tips the guy at the Apple store.
You know what I'd rather see, if I'm being honest with you? Scrap the conference title games. If you're going to go Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, just have the teams that finishes first in the SEC and the team that finishes first in the Big Ten, have them each play the bottom two teams in the NFL.
All right. Here's what Adam has to say. He's taking you to task. You want to read that for us, or just
Adam? Adam goes, Caleb, I want the Vols to win every game and play every weekend. Don't speak for me when you say the fans want us to sit out games and rest. Okay, Adam, that's just you.
No, that's me too.
I'm sorry. We're all from, and I say I'm this way. I'm from a different generation too, where we all value the conference title game. First of all, the conference title game didn't exist until 1992. So the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, there was no conference title. You just won your conference based on where the thing finished in the regular season. And college football got on great, by the way, when that was happening. So I look back and I'm thinking, okay, the tradition of the conference title games, guys, the value's not there. I'm sorry. And what they're proposing here is not a good thing. And people are, here's the hardcore truth that they just can't wrap their brains around. You can't expand a playoff and still have the conference title games matter. The two things are diametrically opposed to each other. You either like the reason the conference title games were such a big deal during the BCS and 14 playoff era was because you kind of had to win that to get into the playoff, no matter where you were. So
it's the wife, hot girlfriend thing. The two don't get along.